Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brown Water Banter Podcast Digital. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
That's right. And we got a great show for you lined up today. Like I said, digital, man, through the interwebs. We have Heather Smith from Heather Smith Outdoors coming back on the show. She's did a previous episode. We're going to talk about the stuff she's done, fishing outdoors, naked and afraid. A lot of cool stuff we're going to talk about this evening. So before we do that, though, before we jump into it, we're going to thank the people that keep the lights on for us here at the Brown Water Digital Studios as well. Our good buddy, Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles. 2023 is coming to an end, but it's still the year to keep your mouth clean. You can look them up on the socials, Facebook and Instagram at Southern Magnolia Smiles. And when you're ready to book that appointment, give them a call at 228-215-1202 and tell them that we sent you. Our buddy Tyler over at Taylor & Cox Law Firm. If you find yourself in need for some legal representation, this is your guy right here. He just got a big billboard up on Washington Avenue. I see it every day when I'm going to and fro. It looks this exact photo right here. It's awesome. They've been practicing law in Pascagoula for 30 years. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. If you need someone to fight for you, choose Taylor & Cox Law Firm. Give them a shout at 228-696-0111. And we also want to thank them for sponsoring the Brown Water Banter app as well. That means a lot to us, so we want to thank them. Our buddy Rocky Brooks over at Sea to Swamp. You can look them up on Facebook, Sea, the number 2, and then Swamp. 2 locations in Goshen and Gulfport. He's slinging everything you need for a day out on the water or pretty much outdoors. Bait, tackle, rods, reels, extra tough boots. I mean, he's slinging kayaks as well. I got some photos here. But you know, local guy, one-stop shop, keep your money in the community. Give him a shout, 228-205-3964. We want to thank him for his continued support. Our buddy Kendrick over at let's see here, where'd it go? There we go. Our buddy Kendrick over at Forever Young Men and Women's Health. You can look them up on Facebook as well. If you can't find the motivation to get off the couch, to get back into the gym, or just to even get moving, walking, whatever it is, you're feeling like a big turd, give Forever Young a shout. You can give them a call at 228-363-6623. Book that appointment. Let him do some lab work on you. Let him figure out lots of things. We talked about it in a previous episode. Could be some vitamin deficiencies. You may need hormone replacement. Put your care in the hands of a professional. Kendrick and his team over at Forever Young Men and Women's Health. And tell them that we sent you. Get your life back on track, man.
Get back to grinding.
That's right. And our buddy Randy Bosarge, District 5 supervisor here in Jackson County, stuck with us after the elections. We want to thank him. We got to get him back on because they are cutting roads up left and right around here. The progress is real. And he was very in tune with the economics and the plan forward for Jackson County over here. We're in our neck of the woods. So we want to thank Randy for his sponsorship as well. I think I got it. I think that's it.
Let's rock it.
Let's bring Heather in. We're going to talk about all the things she's had going on in her universe. So Heather, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How have you been since the last time we spoke?
I have nothing bad to say. If I complain, nobody's going to listen. You know what I mean? So,
This is true.
Since I talked to you guys last, I've had 2 different Naked and Afraid challenges air. That was really cool. And it was interesting to see the ability and the perspective of how the viewers got to watch the character development with me, where they first saw one perspective of me and, just that one challenge. And then to be able to see through a whole season what we went out there on, which I call like the ultimate challenge, because we weren't able to bring anything with us. And if you guys have seen Castaways, and I know you guys are fishermen, to me, Castaways seemed a lot more real. And what I mean by real is like, we're fishing and the boat goes down. That's probably how we're going to arrive at a boat. I mean, potentially not naked, but like you're not going to come you're not coming to as a castaway situation when the boat goes down, you're not going to have a fire striker, and probably not a knife on you. Or a pot, right? Like you're swimming.
Right.
So that was the most realistic situation I think that I could have been thrown into for me. And it was extremely challenging, but The fans were awesome. The feedback was great. And I actually had a really good time filming that. And since then, I've fished a tournament, just got back from Maryland, signed on with a new pro team. I fished against them Big Rock this year. And now I'm fishing with them. So I just fished a tournament with them in Maryland. And then next year I'll be doing Marlin tournaments with them on the East Coast. But for the rest of the year, I'm spending time with the family.
That's a great
Taking
plan.
a break. You need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For people that may not have checked, saw the last episode that we did, can you give them a little bit of a backstory on you and the outdoors, and if they've never heard Heather Smith Outdoors before?
Right. Yeah. So I started in 2018. My family passed away. I moved up to Rayburn. I started bass fishing. My mentor is Bob Seeley. And I started fishing bass tournaments. I originally started fishing saltwater when I was a kid, went into saltwater tournaments, moved back over to fishing saltwater. I travel across the country, either doing tournaments, trophy fishing, trophy hunting. And basically I just started putting what I do like on social media. It wasn't like in the quest to be a content creator as people are doing. I didn't even know content creator. I was a content creator before I knew what a content creator was. I don't think anybody knew what that was,
Right.
and it wasn't that, it was just my life. I was just posting it up there. And then I started training, doing survival training, always trying to level up in the outdoors. I'm also a certified life coach, but so I do motivational speaking. I work with law enforcement sometimes, and I do one-on-one life coaching. I do mental fortitude and strengthening training for willpower. And I did survival training, advanced survival training certification. And then I went and did Naked and Afraid. And then I went and did another Naked and Afraid. And in the interim, I'm still fishing, the most elite offshore tournaments that you can fish for, for deep water. And so one day you may see me in a tournament, like for $6 million for first place. And then the next day you're going to see me at home jumping out of a John boat after a frog, like with my kids. Yeah. So, there's no, I'm not, I guess my diversity has no boundaries.
Yeah. Last time we were on the show, we couldn't even talk about it. And then can you go into the details about, how that all came about? How do you get picked for this? How do you even get in the pool for that? Did they contact you? You contact them? How did that work?
Well, I have a friend that's been on the show, I had at the time I had a couple of friends that had been on the show. And when I had a different survival program reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to do their survival show. And while I was training, someone commented on my social. They didn't know what I was training for. They just knew I was doing survival training. Someone had commented, "You should do Naked and Afraid." And I think at that time, I remember somebody making a comment to me because I had posted. That's when I was in the gym all the time as well, too, and somebody had made a comment about me not being able to. People aren't going to believe that I can fish, if I'm in a bathing suit, right? And I was like, it's 113 degrees. I'm in Texas, right? I got sweat rolling down my backside like Niagara Falls, right? Maybe I wanted to put on a bathing suit today. I mean, most of the time I wear a fishing shirt, but it got under my skin, right? That somebody would say that. And so when someone commented, "You should do Naked and Afraid," I was like, you're right. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I called I was like, actually, yeah, so I made a call to a mall, Alice Erie, and a mall told me made a call for me, and then she told me to fill out some paperwork. Go to metalflowersmedia.com, and I had to go through the process. And they require you have to make a video of you making a fire 3 different ways, making sourcing water 3 different ways, building shelter 3 different ways, and then answer some questions, right? And whatever's on there that they ask you to do. And I followed whatever they asked me to do, and then it wasn't long, I got a phone call.
You think go ahead, Joey. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, that's a big, like, to be just to be well enough with your body, and just to be online, be naked in front of people, real people and to be naked in front of national TV, which of course is blurred out, but it takes a big, I mean, someone's got it. There's some guts wrenching stuff going on, right?
Yeah, there's no measuring contest here when it comes to that. Like, so, the idea, I'm a mom, I've had 3 kids, right? I'm not going to enter any bikini contest anytime soon. You know what I mean? I've got stretch marks. I'm real. Like, you know what I mean? I'm the real deal. And like, I have scars, and I'm not trying to go for Miss America. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, and at the same time, like, I had some people were really eating me up. Like, they tore into me on Reddit because of how much weight I put on for Castaways. And I intentionally packed on 30 pounds prior to going. Like, I learned on my first one, I was in the gym the whole time I was there. And I went in at 158 pounds at 23% body fat. I only lost 10 pounds. I came out at 148 pounds, but I was at 7% body fat. Like, it had eaten me up that much. And so I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. So like, I wanted to have a higher body fat percentage because under 8% for a woman, it actually starts eating on your brain, right? It's not good. It's bad for your organs. And so I was like, we're not doing this again. And so I put on weight. And I knew I also wasn't going to have tools going in. So I thought, yeah, I'm starving, until you can find something. Yeah. And so, and I ended up losing 20 pounds, but out there. But
so you were basically hibernating. You were getting ready to hibernate.
That's right. Hibernating with a whole slew of bugs. And it's actually, you can't have vanity and think that you're going to be a good survivalist, right? Or you can't be a survivalist that's going to be able to have the thought to prepare yourself for the challenge if vanity is your number one thing that you're thinking about, because you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. That's not it's not something. I mean, you're going in there. I don't know about you, but I made this joke the other day. I kind of looked like I had, I looked like a female serial killer in Alabama State Women's Prison. If you ever look at the freaking pictures of me, like, I was like, Jesus, you guys couldn't have used a better pic. Like, we look rough. I got out, my hair dreaded for a while, and my lips toward the end, it was so dry. I looked like, it started splitting like a Joker, and no matter what you try to push, no matter how much water you try to push, I caught a lot of food that wasn't shown. A lot of stuff wasn't shown, but at the same time, they can't show everything in that small amount of time. You have over 3,700 minutes that they're filming. And so their first time, you're only reduced to that, and then the production's there the whole time, no matter what happens with the way that the TV looks, the production's there the whole time. And you pretty much know, like, when you're leaving, if they're going to use you or if you're going to come back, like I was pretty much, I knew, that I was going back.
What's the parameters on that? Like, when you sign up for a season, right? You said you were training or whatever the first go round, right? You didn't put on, you didn't know to put on weight. You didn't know how much weight you were going to lose first time, right? But like, once you show up and it's day one, you got all these cameras around. Like, how long does that last? How many months are you there? Weeks, whatever. Does it take to film that series? I guess
okay. So there's 2 different things. When you do the first, like, original Naked and Afraid challenge, right? And that's right. Like, we got lucky with our episode because the episode itself was on the anniversary of one of my partners. My partner's stepdad was an astronaut that went down in the Columbia. And so when it aired, it was around the anniversary of his death. Like, right, I think it was my birthday is March 26th, and it actually aired on my birthday. But this year was the 20th anniversary of it happening, 20th year anniversary. But for the most part, you're only in the, other people only get 60 minutes, and really it's only 43 minutes with commercials. But
right,
excuse me. The first challenge, you go out there, it's 21 days. It's a 21-day challenge, period. And they're going to fly you out a little bit early, because you got to get there in prep, and they got to screen you and do all this other stuff, because they got to make sure you're medically okay. Like, they check and make sure that, it's several ways. They want to make sure that you don't have any kind of communicable disease. Well, that happens at home too. They screen you for everything. They take your blood, they're going basically inside your head. Like they know everything about you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
They don't want you to die on national TV.
We don't want to know
and
you're
they
in
don't
renal
want.
failure when day 2. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
didn't
well,
know?
she died. Yeah.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, no. By the time you got back, I was like, wow. I was like, I was like, I don't think I've ever been screened that much from everything. So, they know you psychologically, cardiac, whatever, your heart, your mind, your body, your blood, everything, boom. There's nothing about you that's not untold when you go out there. And because they want to make sure you're sound, because also, they don't need you not only dying, but they don't want you going batshit crazy and killing everybody out there. Because, you're in a real stressful situation. And some people, like, they're not okay. They may go all rooster. You know what I mean? Like,
what was it? What was the plane crash where they had to, like, day 2, you're killing your teammates and eating them? Where they like, Heather, this is day 2. What are you doing?
Yeah, I kind of got in trouble for not.
Alive was the name of that movie.
I was told I couldn't threaten to eat my partner.
Right. It's like, this is literally, we've been filming 20 minutes and you've threatened to kill 3 people. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate. Yes. So, but it's brutal. So you're out there. I think, actually, to be honest with now, I can say it, but right now I was gone. Like, I was in transit. It took me 3 days to get to where I was going because I went to Africa, and it was yesterday. 2 years ago yesterday, I left for Africa to do the challenge. So right now I was gone to do the challenge. I missed Thanksgiving of 2021 because I was in the challenge, and Halloween. I was in the challenge in Africa.
So the parameters there, I mean, they're obviously film crews there, right? But they're not assisting you. You're not, right? Like, it's full blown.
They're there, but no help. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to. As a matter of fact, they don't even talk to you. They can't talk to you. Like, they cannot interfere in your adventure, right? Like, so it is your challenge. And, they don't want to, anything they say to you can kind of veer you in a different direction of what you inherently would do, right?
Right.
So, this is your adventure and, and your survival. But at the same time, they kind of are assessing you. I believe they're assessing you to see later in the future, if you would be able to take other challenges, because they know. I mean, this is what these people do all the time, So they know what other challenges await. For us, it's the very first time you go out there, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, my heart was beating through my chest, and I felt like I was on the top of one of those rides that when you drop, and your stomach goes in your throat.
Butterflies.
Yeah. Oh, I was beyond butterflies. Like, I had pterodactyls flying, many pterodactyls flying around. Yeah. But no, it was, I mean, 3 weeks prior to going, the kids would come in and I would be literally doing a bow drill in the middle of my living room at 3:00 in the morning. I would wake up having panic attacks because I was so worried that, I did not want to look bad on television. I did not want to fail on television. That was, they asked me while I was out there, what's my biggest fear? And I can answer that. And I answered it then. My biggest fear is failure. I'm not afraid of animals. My biggest fear is failure. And that's what I was terrified of. And so, prior to going, I quit eating any kind of carbs for 3 weeks. I only ate meat at home for 3 weeks. No caffeine, nothing like that. Because I said, if I can't do it at home, I had no business going on national television and embarrassing myself.
Yeah. Or coming off of it, like withdrawing from caffeine. Like, I don't want that as a part of my regimen.
No,
I ain't gonna be able to have it out there.
Yeah.
Right.
How did the fam take that? Because I know you were gone for quite a while, right? So you had to have a good support system at home. Somebody had to be there when you were away, right?
Yeah. Now I have a really good support system. Bob and my fishing partner and his wife, my bass fishing partner and his wife, and Bob Seeley, they were here with the girls, and Bob would come over to Michelle and Rowdy's. Like even when the day I got out, I called and I was like, hey, and they're like, well, Bob's right here. I'm like, hey, so he would spend time with the girls, and then they were all really close knit, and the girls were happy, but they missed me. There was no doubt about it that they missed me. And I know she tried out for cheerleading while I was gone. And they said that when in her tryouts, she just started crying because I wasn't there. And so I knew that. Yeah. So that one kind of, it's a tearjerker. But
Yeah.
and not being home for that was like my first time to ever miss a holiday. You know, I missed her birthday. I missed Lila's birthday, the very first challenge, and that was devastating for me to not be here for that, and for her, you know. And so, you do sacrifice a lot, you know, going out there. People don't realize it, but coming home, it was the sweetest reunion ever. You know, it's like you come home and like you have a lot of time to think out there, you know. So I came up with some of the best recipes like while I was out there. And so I talk about food a lot on these challenges. And so, you know, I talked about a lot of recipes. That's where I came up with my Fruity Pebbles, tres leches cake recipe is while I was out there sitting in the middle of Africa. And then, there were some other recipes that I came up with that I've put to good use since I've been home.
Yeah. I bet they tackled you walking through the door.
Yeah.
As soon as you came back in, I'm sure they tackled you.
They did. Well, Ella, they came up and hugged me, and then Ella took a step back and she looked up at me. And I looked down at her, and she just like, it was almost that look like, is this real? You know? And then she buried her head in my thigh and held on and just cried for 30 minutes and just kind of collapsed into my leg. Like, it's my mom, you know what I mean? And then I lost my shit, you know, like, so.
Yeah. But you look different too. You lost 20 pounds. So I'm sure you looked a whole lot different to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The first time was, I was a lot more muscular and more defined, right? Like than the second time. Like the second time they picked me up from the airport with my partner. And when I opened the door, they're like, your face, because my face was so sunk in, you know, and the second time was awful. Okay. So, I mean, the challenge was awesome, but I ended up getting parasites. Like, so, after Castaways, the bugs were so bad that when they were biting me, they injected like a parasite into my blood, and it buried itself into my liver, and it started attacking my liver and my kidneys. And I had to go to the hospital. I had bites all over my entire body, and then whatever was on the inside was erupting from the inside. So I thought I had bugs, but it was actually coming from the inside of my body. And so then I looked like a wacko, just scratching myself all the time. So
you were the bug.
yeah.
You were the bug.
Yeah. I'm the problem. It's me. You know what I mean? Like, and so I ended up going, I got it fixed. It took me a month after that last one to get fixed. Yeah. It took me a month.
Damn, that's intense. What was the food item that you missed the most on that first one that you just couldn't get out of your head, or that you ate first when you got back?
I'm really bad about talking about food. I'll tell you that. So they knew from the day of insertion, because when we inserted, the ground was 138 degrees. And I burned my foot off. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the bottom of my right foot actually burned off the first day that we inserted. And production was actually, everybody was worried because they didn't think all three of us were going to make it through insertion. It's known, our episode is actually known as one of the worst insertions of the history of the show.
Damn.
Because of the heat.
Because of the heat, 138 degrees. And the two guys with me started heat. They were having like, I want to say heat exhaustion because they didn't lose consciousness. That they were having a reaction to the heat with a hyperthermia or whatever it's called when it's too hot, you know.
Yeah.
And so they started projectile vomiting. Dallas was so bad that he started his, like, I call it T-Rex hands, you know, and he was convulsing and seizures. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. And I've never seen someone seizing like that before, that from the heat, you know. We're from the South, right? You know, so I'd never seen that. And I immediately, if you were wanting to know about food and drink, immediately I was like, I would give anything for a Sonic Pink Lemonade right now, like a Route 44. And then I wanted a chili dog, with a chili cheese dog from Sonic with onions and mustard.
That's legit.
When they send you in, I'm sure, do they have medics on site? Do they have somebody who says, look, you're past the point, we got to get you out of here? Is there a person like that on with y'all?
They are not like standing there, but like they're around they have a medical tent not far from where you're filming, you know.
Right.
And except for like when you're in Africa, you have to be careful because there's wild beasts, right? You can't just like set up a little shop and be like, hey, this is our little tent over here. Bingo, right? You know, so the castaways, 3 of my castmates, were medically, taken out. And so Rachel broke her knee. It was awful, right?
Wow.
And she's a free diver, so that was sad. And then Candace got something bitter on her face. She ended up with like some flesh-eating virus or flesh-eating bacteria on her face. And then Justin Governale, the MMA fighter, he got dysentery. So yeah, they had to get him out of there. Like, he had to go straight to the hospital. He got parasites from the water,
Yeah.
and then and obviously I'm old Ironsides because I just walked up and drank the water right out of the river, because you see Andrew, I'll never forget, Andrew's like, okay, we're gonna put it in this bottle and we're gonna let the sun okay, Heather's drinking it, okay, right, because I was like, you can make your plan. I'm like, dude, if I'm dying, okay, that's, I'm getting out of here either way. I'm not tapping.
I've already had bugs in my liver. What else could be, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm like, I'm already going down like a fat man on a seesaw. So another thing I did that I think helped me with not puking in Africa is I started taking electrolyte packets 3 times a day, 6 weeks prior to the challenge. And so I had packed so many electrolytes into my system, and like to really try to build that up. I didn't vomit when I was out there in Africa like the boys did. The boys really, really had a problem. It was very severe.
I don't have the appreciation even that you do, but like here in America, we're very lucky. We got food everywhere. We got grocery stores, like water, clean water for that matter. Right. And it's like, people talk about, what could happen with any number of threats to society as we know it. Right. But like, you've experienced what it's like to survive, and it's not easy. Like, every little thing you take for granted, like, you see it probably day one, you're like, holy shit, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that. Like, it's not easy to survive.
Yeah, no, it's ironically enough, like, it's so much easier to watch it from home and be in a recliner. Like, you see all these other people, like, commenting online, they're like, what a biatch, you know what I mean, or whatever, as they eat their Slim Jim, drink their freaking Dr. Pepper, or pop their cheese puffs. Dude, it is so much harder than you could ever imagine. And not only that, like, you're out there and you realize how valuable a pair of socks are. Like, you don't even realize, because we're so second nature. Like, socks to me right now, to this day, I drop some paper on my socks just because I know what it's like not to have socks, and I also have a loose, like, the bottom of my foot over not having socks on, like, or shoes. I absolutely value socks. I have a weird obsession with them now. It's just kind of odd.
Yeah.
But I love them. But ice. You never think how valuable it is to have ice. Now, those that you live on the coast, I live, here. We're used to going through like some disaster management, catastrophic stuff with hurricanes, right? And that's when like, you don't have AC, we get agitated about it, right? And we don't have ice for a while, we get agitated, but at least we got a house, right? And we got clothes, and we have neighbors, and for the most part, we all have grills, or we can make a grill. We've got stuff that we're going to end up cooking everything in our freezer when this happens, right? You don't have that option over there. And I have now learned, drinkable water, I think it's I think they said it's like 7 million people die a year because they can't get drinkable water, Yeah. And we've got Americans on, talking all the time and going online, like, they're trying to poison us with fluoride. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Okay, I'm not even going to comment on that. I think they are. But, but in reality, there's people that can't even get drinkable water, So we are so lucky, like, so fortunate. And when I came home, like, I didn't completely lose my mind, in certain ways, but we really are a lot of entitled individuals in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not grateful, like, we are so lucky we were born in this country.
There's no doubt about that.
Did you kind of have depression era is the only thing I can compare it to, where you saved your bacon grease and you washed your paper plates and you reused your napkins? Was that something like you did when you got home? You were like, I can't throw anything away because we might not find it again. You know what I'm saying?
I already saved my bacon grease. Okay, I got that from my grandma. Like, and so I've been saving my bacon grease. I think no, I really started to appreciate the simpler things. I actually, when 2022, I started volunteering for a lot of charity stuff and a lot more. Like I already have, but I spent the better portion of 2022 actually doing a lot of volunteer work. I wasn't even home 2 weeks from my Africa challenge, and I deployed with my kids to over to Kentucky when the tornadoes went through, and we actually spent our Christmas Eve and Christmas down giving donations to the kids that had lost and the families that had lost stuff in the tornado. So it really made me appreciate and want to give back to the community and see how lucky I am. So it wasn't even, it was just more, what can I give to help? Because I realized how fortunate we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to go through something like that. Like you mentioned with us, like with the hurricanes and stuff, but there's a support system.
Am I talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're still good.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a support system here when we have a situation. I mean, even as bad as Katrina was, we had neighbors and stuff like that. Then the National Guard comes in, but I'm where you were at. It's just you and your team, more or less. The people that are around you, and that's it. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Heather,
I got bum rushed by a hippo. Okay, like this doesn't happen. And what's really funny is the camera guy that was out there with me. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Buzzing up a little bit.
Is there a delay?
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I hope I don't get frozen like a crazy position. Okay, so when I was up in the palm tree there, like I was chopping on this palm tree, and this hippo was in the river, and it came at me in the river, and it looks like a big submarine, coming at me. And it was funny because there was the camera guy was up over my shoulder, and we were like over each other trying to get out of the tree, like you were both trying to get out of there as quickly as possible to get away. And that's where I put that. I was like, later I've talked to that camera guy since then, and we were laughing, and I was like, it was completely the theory, or it's I don't have to be the fastest, I just have to be faster than you. You know what
Correct.
I mean? So that was how that went down. But we are very fortunate, and when you get out there, they got these thorns, that these things can flatten construction tires, right? And they go into you. I came out of there, I had so many thorns in my hands and in my feet. Like I looked like Hellraiser, and I think I took a bite of a banana when I first got out, and I ate a half a banana because you can't eat a lot, and I thought I was going to die. It was amazing. It tastes amazing. Food tastes better than it's ever tasted ever when you get out of there. But I started getting dizzy because my sugar spiked from the banana. It kind of went through the roof from not having any sugar.
Right.
And so I got a little dizzy and kind of lost my footing.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with a wild hippo. I want nothing to do with it.
That was it.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Are you guys there?
Yeah. Hold on one second. All right. There's like a little bit of a delay. I'm not sure. Is it better now?
We had wild hippos, crocodiles. Yeah. I think it just blipped. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good now. Yeah.
Okay, it's much better. The castaways, that was just a whole different brutal intensity. That was, there's no secret. My partner, me and Dallas got along great. Like we got along great, and then the other guy and I, we just are two different people. You know what I mean? From two completely different worlds and different mindsets. And, and so that was to me, that was my most difficult part, was having to be there for 21 days with someone like that, and, but it was, I did it.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I was like, look, you've already had two, you've already been able to make it through 2 bad marriages, right? Until the divorce papers were signed. So I can make it 21 days. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So,
and then Castaways, you had a full squad, right? What was that, 12 of y'all or 10 of y'all?
There was
on it, or
nine. There was
Okay.
9 of us, and then 6 people made it.
Okay.
And I love Belant. Okay, so Belant, that's the guy. He's from Turkey. Did y'all see him? He's from Eastern Europe, like Eastern Europe. You know, he's Turkish.
Right.
Uh-huh.
He is truly probably one of the funniest human beings that I've ever got to be on a challenge with. Like, I was in stitches around that guy, like to the point where my side hurt, my face hurt. You know, I was. This guy is great. Like, he's hilarious, and everybody else thinks he's joking. And when I was dying laughing. Like, I'm literally like, I was PMSL because he was being dead serious. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's so funny." I'm like, what's really funny is he was serious. You know,
Yeah.
like, I can't make
Brutally
this up.
honest.
Yeah, he was so honest, and they're like, "He's so funny. He's joking, right?" And I'm like, "He's not. That's why I'm laughing so hard."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm really not. He's not joking. He was funny because it's real."
What
Go ahead.
what about the bugs over there? Like, that's another thing. Like, again, being here in South Mississippi, we have gnats, right? And they will make you want to just kill yourself at certain points when they get bad enough, right? It's just psychological warfare, much less the pain from the bites, right? How was that? And not to mention on the naked one.
I'm listening to you. You keep going.
Yeah, no. That was the question though. Like, how, that's another factor that you have to deal with in something like that.
I got something for you boys. Speaking of, like, so the gnats that you guys, those are like the ones that are in Venice, you know, right?
Yeah.
They're so bad.
Exactly.
Okay. I found this stuff, Spartan Go. It's the only thing Spartan Go.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually made in Mississippi. And so, but it's the only thing that I found besides Victoria, that whatever Amber Romance that works. This works. So you don't smell like like you're from Victoria's Secrets, so it's the only thing. And actually it was in my truck because they had donated a lot of stuff to hurricane relief. So I had some of them in my truck and I was going hog hunting in Venice. I put it on and the airboat actually blew up out there while we were in there. So we got stranded out in the swamp and I didn't have any gnats on me at all. Like, and I ate a sandwich. I didn't have any on me. And I was like, dude, I'm going to marry this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that's why when you said gnats, get you this works. It really does work. So
Spartan, they need to reach out to you and get a sponsorship. What better cosign than that?
Yeah. Right.
The vanilla lace works, but who's going to believe their husband or girls can get away with it? Guys can't. I'm going to go fishing at Chandelier all day and come back and smell like vanilla lace. Yeah, I'm sure you went fishing all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's Amber Romance is the other one, everybody. So when I was in Venice, I was like, hey, man, are all these guys fancy fellas? You know what I mean? I didn't know because they were all wearing it, right? I was like, I did not expect this you know what I mean? Like, you learn not to expect things. You don't judge, but I didn't expect like all these really, all of their Southern Cajuns. I was like, it seems off, man. Like I didn't even know that the population was as high, so like, but I mean, it's nothing judgy, but but no, I introduced actually after we used that, then I think for the remainder of the trip, that shit grew like wildfire in the area because everybody's like, oh, give us that, right? Because that's just it. You think your man stepping out on you if he comes home smelling like a girl.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would, So out of the bugs. But speaking of the bugs, they're awful, dude. They're literally in Africa. I didn't have a problem with bugs. We had scorpions. I had a bunch of scorpions stinging me. But that's nothing. Like, I mean, if you've been to the hill country, they zap you all the time. So that's no big deal. But the bugs are a whole different level. Like the castaway bugs, it was just hell. It was literally hell. Like they had this bug there that they don't have any. I mean, they have it in other places, but they don't have them here in the United States, and they're called chitras, right? And I've taught my children that chitras is the new word for Diablo, and that's the thing that injected me with parasites. And you should see my legs and my arms. They are brutally scarred. My legs are brutally scarred from these things. I was ripped.
Where was Castaways filmed? Where was the second part of Castaways?
Out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on a deserted island.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, once you got out there, it was a whole level. Like, I think it was on day 2, these things just cracked out, and it was it came out from the earth, and it was the Chitras, and you could hear people just screaming, like screaming. People were just ripping their skin off. It was literally like a horror movie. It was awful. No, I had blood dripping from me, like. And then when we got to where the beach was, I ran into the Pacific Ocean, and that kind of started healing me up, But other than that, it was the bugs were a nightmare, or they were truly a nightmare. And that's your test of power. To the beat, the best way to describe them on a daily basis. Do either one of you guys have tattoos?
No.
Yeah.
I think we're on a delay again.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing they do the swipe, like after a while when your arm is puffed up and it starts getting the swipe, and then you're like, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that swipe 24 hours a day, the whole time.
Yeah, I want no part of that.
Stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely
Fun.
no part of it.
Yeah.
I dropped a link to your the Heather Smith Outdoors Facebook page in the comments below here. So people that are watching on the live or on the replay, you can definitely jump on that and go over to your page. Is that where you're active a lot with your stuff, with your content, or what's coming up next? Is it that page?
Yeah. So I use my Instagram. I use my Facebook. I've got TikTok. Like, TikTok hates me because I'm either using a baton to kill a fish, or we're hunting, and apparently, between TikTok and PETA, I'm the most hated person. But the Facebook is where I spend. I'm more active there because I try to interact with people, and I like to interact with individuals as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, what's on the horizon? What's coming up next for Heather Smith Outdoors? Is it stuff we can talk about, stuff we can't?
Yes. Yes. So I did just get I got some kayaks. So I've got some new Hoodoo kayaks. 3 of them. I got myself the pedal drive, and I got 2 other ones for me and a little, so I can spend more time with them out here on the lake. That's the plan for me through January, is to just be home, concentrate on my health and getting back in the gym and getting to where I want to be prior to Africa. And
Right.
I'm still on an interview, so could you please stop screaming? That'd be great. I'm doing an interview. I'm on live. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
And then February, I'm doing the Neutral Rodeo in Venice.
Yeah.
I think I've got a show to do, some sort of outdoor show I'm doing in spring up in Pennsylvania. Then I have my 2024 schedule. I'll be fishing with the Hogfin team for Hogfin Performance Wear. And I'm fishing the Kelly Wagner Big Rock, the White Marlin Open, and Tiki Leaves.
Nice.
So you're bowed up.
And then I've got I've got 2 down in the Bahamas, or 1 in the Bahamas and 1 in Florida next year too. So they're both offshore tournaments as well. And that's all I can tell you about.
Well, that's good. I think that delays a little bit back, but no, that's definitely cool. Focusing on the family throughout the rest of the year, and then fishing next year, and then some top secret classified stuff that hopefully we can get you back on.
Well, there's I've got some other stuff going on. I just can't mention too much because I'm also trying to decide.
No.
The circle wheel of death. Let's see here. Pull her out, and then let's see if that helps.
Pull her back in.
Yeah. I think we're going to be spinning here for a minute, but we were pretty much wrapping things up anyway. Joey, maybe if you want to shoot her a message and just let her know, we'll just wrap up the show. Because I think that internet connection had been degrading throughout the last probably 10 minutes of that chat. Anyway,
It's
But
all
we
good.
do want to thank Heather for jumping on here and talking with us. She's doing a lot of cool stuff. And you, like she said, you watch that shit on TV and you think like, oh, that's, 48 minutes or 42 minutes, whatever she said. And you're in your recliner eating potato chips and
does.
you don't realize. Here she goes.
There she is. She's back.
There we go.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
And-
No,
Well, at least there's no delay now either.
right. Yeah, we were just saying that we were impressed that, like, you watch that stuff on TV and you don't realize like what it takes until you hear your personal account of really like the whole picture. And I want no part of that.
No.
I'm going to tell you right now, like everybody's like, I want to do that. I can't, I'm going to do that. I'll be honest with you. I came back and I really dropped this one meme and it's like Woody Harrelson. He's like, you'll be the first to die, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and I
I've
can
seen
honestly tell you, it's so funny. I can look at somebody now and be like, you're never going to make it. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'll know right off the bat. And it's truly a matter of willpower. It's 100%. It's like, it's Naked and Afraid, in my opinion, is 90% willpower, 10% skill. It could even be 87% willpower and 13% skill. And on top of that, it's the military guys are actually the number one guy to tap. And the number one person that makes it is a single mom.
Wow.
Strong. They're strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because we don't have an option,
Right.
Military guys have a unit, you have a team, right? And then you have all the equipment. Moms, half the time we don't have barely anything. We're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for the softball, right? And then at the same time, we don't have an option to say no, like if we don't do it, they're not eating at night. They got school, they got this, they have to have it done. If a lot of single moms are not salaried employees, they got to go to work sick. And even if you are salaried, but you've got 2 kids and you're at home sick, it doesn't matter if you have to have the flu. Somebody's got to get up and bring them to school.
Right.
So I learned that. I think I was out there, and during Castaways, they were asking me how I was able to I had somebody having a problem with sleep deprivation and I was still going. And, I said, because I've been practicing with sleep deprivation through 3 children, like,
It's easy.
Yeah.
This is like every other weekend.
Yeah, you're conditioned since the minute you bring them home from the hospital, So, but it is a lot more difficult. If people want to do it, my advice, go to metalflowersmedia.com. Metal as in heavy metal, flowersmedia.com. Sign up, but do not do it until you are literally trained. I don't care if you say you were about Boy Scouts. I don't care if you said you were in the military. Go take primitive survival classes. You're going to need them and you don't have enough training. I promise you.
Are there any that you recommend specifically? Those types of classes?
Yeah. So Northwest Survival School is Travis Johnson. He's my guru. I've been up there. I've done several classes with him. I've actually drove up there once, spent time with my kids, brought my kids to his classes. Actually, that was a really fun vacation summer thing. Then I flew back up and did more prep with him before I left. Northwest Survival School. He just did a thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He also trained the Diesel Brothers, and he's trained a lot of actors in major movies. So he can prep you for a survival show. EJ Snyder is also a great instructor. He's the GOAT of Naked and Afraid. He does survival course training. And if anybody knows what Naked and Afraid needs, he started it. He was the very first person to go out on the challenge. And he's the GOAT, for a reason. The guy fell out of a tree in the Atchafalaya Basin and ripped his nutsack and had him stitch it up while he was out there and stayed in the challenge. That's how awesome this guy is,
Yeah.
Quit just hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too much for me right there.
It's up your throat.
I'm done. I don't want none of that.
Yeah. I'm
throwing that in the comments right now, that school. So there's the website for Northwest Survival School, which is just northwestsurvivalschool.com. But click on that link and check them out, because that minus the it seems like something that would be good money well spent, time well spent, and a skill to learn.
It is. And this is why I brought my kids, and they're really good with kids. They gave the kids like little adventure coloring books and like scavenger hunt things while we're doing it, and it teaches them. But this is the way I looked at it. And I didn't know when I first brought them up there, and I knew that I had already been asked to be on a different survival show. My thought process is what are the odds I'm really going to get picked to go on a show? right? You know what I mean? Like I thought this is never going to happen. Had no idea it was going to take this other twist. And so I was like, yeah, right. Like this is a 1 in 200,000 of a shot. And knowing my luck in the past, I'm not going to get picked. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm going to bring my kids and I am going to train them to go do this. And they're going to be my little apocalypse partners, because at the end of the day, when something happens, if we do so say, you know, whatever, sky's falling, chicken little, whatever, your family, that's your apocalypse partners. Okay.
Yep.
Your homeboy down the street ain't coming when you ain't got no phone and like a tornado is in between y'all. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be you, your kids, and your girl or your husband or whatever it is. And if you get hurt, you better hope your children are trained enough, because you may lose consciousness to know what to do. So that's why my kids are my little apocalypse partners. I want them to know how to make cordage. I want them to know how to go fetch something. I want them to know if it's shaped like a heart, it's probably good for your heart. You know, little things that, and in the end, you know, they love it. They have a good time.
Yeah. And that's cool. I wouldn't have thought something like that would be, you know, kid friendly. So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, they actually asked me to go to teach a kids class, and another school here in Texas, and I just don't have the time. You know, like my life is just so consumed with stuff right now and to be honest with you, you know, I've taken all these courses, but Travis, you know, he's done this for 20, 30 years, right? You know, EJ, he was a survival training instructor in the military for 20 years before retiring, and then becoming a Naked and Afraid reality star, completely, you know, Mr. Survival. And he was on Dual Survival. So these are people that are expert, not only just survivalists, or I say expert, very well seasoned survivalists, but they're very seasoned and experienced instructors. You know, that's where you need to go. That's where you need to go, you know? So I'll teach you how to do mental fortitude, but when it comes to skill sets, you know, seek out one of those people, and I will definitely tell you that. Don't get with a friend that's been on the show a couple of times or even 4 or 5 times. Get with the people that this is their livelihood, and they can give you all of the secrets.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. You know. So that's really my piece of advice there, and I think that everyone should seek it out. You know, I think it's fun. And constantly level up. You know, this last summer I went and trained Tom Brown, you know, was the Mr. Tracker, his protege Bill. I went and trained with him this past summer, and, you know, did 3 weeks up there in Montana, you know, learning new things, just because I constantly want to level up. You know, how are you going to get any better if you can't always be like, my grandpa taught me this. Well, that's cool. Well, what did somebody else's grandpa know? You know what I mean? Like your family only knows so much skill set. So if you really want to continue to learn and really grow, you've got to branch out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Well, we appreciate your time, and we love what you're doing. We're big fans. So keep us in the loop every time you got something, you know, some new information that you can talk about. Shoot us a message. We love to have you back.
Circle back to us.
I will. I'm going to get with you guys next year. And then if not, I want you guys to have a fantastic holiday with your families.
You too.
Same with you.
And you have amazing wives, I know, because their name is Heather, both of them.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much for your time. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Always. Thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. That was cool. That was cool. She's we would die quickly and she would live, is really the takeaway from that. So
I'm pretty sure.
I do like this survival school stuff, though. I think we might need to look into that, Joey. That sounds fun to me. I don't know.
Have ice cream?
Probably. and whiskey.
I'm a big fan of ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream and whiskey, and I'm there. So, but anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We got what do we got coming up? I think Sunday. We're doing one Sunday, right?
I don't know. Did you ever get back to me on that?
I think that's Facebook Loser right there. I think that's
Facebook Loser.
That's Josh. I'm pretty sure. And he wants to get Naked and Afraid on Horn Island. That's scarier to me than that charging hippo story.
I'd rather get ate by the damn tattoo bugs than be Naked and Afraid with Josh on Horn Island.
Yes, I would just kill myself first before we did any of that. So
just drink salt water.
This Sunday we'll be going live with him to talk about the meet and greet he's got coming up at Cedar Swamp with Rocky and them. So that'll be cool. That'll be a in person. We'll get back to the in person episodes. So download the app if you don't have it. It's free. App Store, Google Play. We got merch on the website as well, which we do a terrible job of mentioning on the show. Go buy a hat. That's a limited edition that Joey's wearing, but you can get this one on the website, brownwaterbanter.com. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later.